Hey, good afternoon once again. This is Matt Quick from HireMilitary. I'm here talking today with Martin Beatty, a U.S. Marine that's going to transition shortly and doing great things for the civilian world. But hey, before we get started, I want to let you know that just ask your questions here, and if you got any questions for Martin as he talks about his military service, ask your questions. I'll try to take questions from our board, and I'll ask. But the one question I keep asking is, where do you get those cool T-shirts from? So this True Patriot. They do our T-shirts for us at HireMilitary. I will drop a link when Martin starts talking, and we'll go from there. Right. So hey, Martin, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
So where are you at right now?
I'm currently stationed in 29 Palms, California. It's in the south of the Death Valley Desert,
So I
essentially.
hear it's hot there, right?
Too hot.
That's cool. Hey, so tell us where you're from. Why join the Marine Corps? Why did you pick the best service to get into? And tell us about your service, man.
Okay. All right. So I'm originally from Detroit, Michigan. I grew up on the east side. Uh, I spent a little bit of time in ROTC. So it was Naval ROTC, Naval Junior ROTC in high school. We had a Marine colonel there. And he was something that you probably would have seen on TV, what they say, Spitfire and and everything else, behind that. So he was a reconnaissance Marine. You imagine, Vietnam War and the Korean War. That was his background. Unfortunately, he can't be with us here today, but his name is Colonel Church. And I was not the best ROTC student. I only did about a few months in there. I skipped the class, and it was Navy ROTC. But when I was skipping class, I used to pick up this magazine called the Marine Gazette and Leatherneck magazine. And I used to read those magazines. Ninth grade, 10th grade, student reading those type of Marine Corps publications.
Of course.
That kind of resonated into my personality and why I joined the Marine Corps in 2000, shortly after high school. Really didn't know what I wanted to do, but I know I wanted to join the military. So I called all the branches. Air Force, naturally, they've already got a list of guys who they want in their service, regards to, high scores. I talked to the Army Reserve recruiter. The Navy guys I didn't really want to talk to because I've already experienced that in ROTC. Yeah.
Still
So
a great
uniforms
service.
weren't
They're the
attractive.
parent service of the Marine Corps, right? Still a great
Oh,
service.
oh yeah. Oh yeah. They, they don't shoot me. But when I finally talked to gathered the courage to talk to the Marines, I left a message. They were out and about, and this is 2000. Prior to any type of technology advances, with the Marine Corps, I just left a message on the answering machine. The Marine called me back and he's like, "Hey, where you at?" I said, "I'm on the east side." He said, "Okay, I'll be there in an hour." He got there in 30 minutes to my house, picked me up, and interviewed me. And we had this thing. I was also a Marine recruiter. We had this thing where we interview candidates and prospects, where they lay down some tags in front of you and kind of guide the interview to what you want to do with your life, and not what the Marine Corps is, what your goals are. Period. And my goals was to see the world, get an education, and be challenged. Those are my three goals, the three tags that I picked. And from there, it's been an adventure. I chose the MOS rifleman, which is in the infantry, and I've been in the MOS ever since. And a lot of people look at it as a negative, construct, but it's not. It is one of the most challenging jobs that you can do, because in order to be a rifleman, you must be intelligent. I mean, if you're not intelligent, you're going to get intelligent, because
Quickly.
it's how we do. Is because you have to be a thinker, a mover, and you have to manage people, time, space, equipment, and occasionally money, big time, because Marine Corps is poor. So during my time as a rifleman, I started in Camp Lejeune, North Carolina, as a rifleman. Moved up to be a squad leader shortly thereafter. I think I was a squad leader at the rank of Lance Corporal. I actually went to the school and earned the title squad leader, and from there,
Oh wow.
deployed to Iraq, Okinawa. We went on the Mew. Then once I reenlisted, I gathered the courage up to stay in the Marine Corps longer. I was actually able to fill a billet, who was non-commissioned officer for our operations section, which I went to Okinawa, Japan. And from there, we trained with a lot of Southeast Asian militaries and humanitarian assistance, or what we know as security cooperation. Just trying to make sure the regional security is all tied together. So I've worked with computers while I was there at that unit, and it was a crash course for me because once I showed up, all the contractors there were Marine vets, Army vets, and Air Force vets, and they say, "Oh, who's this dumb grunt?" And that was their theme. For guys like me and my MOS who showed up, and they rated a guy like me. It was just a initiation to what they were going to introduce me to, and they introduced me to the operations side of the Marine Corps, where planning was a big thing. So from there on, I left there, went back to the grunts, deployed a few more times in Iraq and Afghanistan. And a couple of other places. From there, I left the grunts again, went to a security role in Fleet Anti-Terrorism Security Team, where we basically our job is to reinforce embassies or any asset that the Navy or the Department of or the State Department will have us, protect or reinforce. From there, I got done with that mission. While I was there at that mission, we did nuclear security. We also did a couple of exercises with the State Department. Once that mission was complete, I did 3 years over there at Fleet Anti-Terrorism Security Team. I transitioned to recruiting duty, which was the first time being out of the O3 community, what we know as the infantry community, for my first time. So I did recruiting in Atlanta, Georgia, for 3 years. I had the opportunity to be a recruiter for 11 months. During that 11 months, I was able to successfully recruit 26, Marines, or process 26 Marines.
And that's a big deal for the Marine Corps, right?
Oh yes, big time.
Yes,
big
that's
time.
a big
It
deal.
was hard.
The Marine Corps has a lot, or they're more structured with the qualifications, and it's a smaller force, so they got to be more selective, right?
Oh yes, that's correct. Especially during that time right there, was, I had been in the Marine Corps 14 years, and I'm a senior, staff sergeant at that point, working for another staff sergeant, and those are the times where you had to be humble. You had to open up your ears and listen to the Marine that's to the left and right of you. Help to become a great recruiter, and it did. It helped big time. It's an independent duty. And, like Matt, said, you have to, your recruiting standards they have to be high quality. You have to be able to work with other agencies. I worked with the Army big time, National Guard, really huge, big time. The Navy, they were our competition. So they even though they're our brothers and sisters in arms when it comes down to, service representation, but no, it was the National Guard, Marine, and Army team on my side of town. We all helped each other out. So yeah, like I said, I did 11 months as a recruiter. Then I moved up to be the staff OIC of the station. And
just under a year, you were in charge of it? That's not bad.
Oh yes, most definitely. And it was a series of events that occurred in order to get into that seat. And from there on, that Marine officer that put me in charge of the station, he picked up the phone. He said, "Hey, Staff Sergeant Beatty, you got the helm. I'm giving you a small mission. Don't fail this mission." And that was it. He hung up the phone. He was an aggressive commander.
Not much guidance, but the guidance says don't fail, right? Simple, right?
Oh, exactly. And that's our mentality. And that's the thing about being on recruiting duty that opened my eyes up wider, is that no fail mentality that I had as an infantryman. There's no fail. You cannot fail. You have a commander's intent. You have to carry out that commander's intent, and there's no way out of it. You know what I mean? There's a way that you can, execute that intent. You're in charge of it, but the same mentality goes over to recruiting. And that's what I did with my team. And that's what I did with myself and the people I worked with out there in recruiting, was that no fail mentality. Even if you fall behind, there's going to be guys that's going to be able to help you. But what made us successful was that having that mentality of achieving the commander's intent.
And I think most people don't understand that weren't recruiters, don't understand how difficult that mission actually is, because you got to go out there and really you have to convince the moms and dads that have no idea what military is to have them, buy into their kids joining the military. Mm. And another thing, just the competition alone between you, the Army, Air Force, and the Navy, not so much for you, but how is that competition? Is it fun? Is it real? Tell us about that.
The competition is, you're right, it's real. And it is fun because one of the biggest things out there that we experience is that when you set up a table, at an event like a career fair, whether it's for Marine officers or the enlisted side, somewhere at that event, you're going to have your competition. That competition is the local police force. It's the Army, the Navy, the Marine Corps, Reserve, and the Marine Corps officers. They're our competition. Yeah. And the thing with the competition is, with an applicant, you want to find out what they want. And for me, notably, I have one applicant. He was very smart, a genius. He just wanted to be a pilot. That's what he knew he wanted to do. And the Navy was recruiting this individual at first, but it was a long process for the Navy versus the Marine Corps. So I brought the applicant in to, process him with the Marine Corps and to become a pilot. And we got him everything that he wanted, everything that he needed. But at the end of the day, he still joined the Navy because, he didn't want he didn't want that big of a challenge that the Marine Corps had before becoming a pilot. And he had, the Marine Corps officers, they have a bigger leap to achieve than other branches because their training pipeline is nearly a year long before they actually go to their job school. So
I was surprised to see that you had him in the Marine Corps and he just went back to the Navy. But I think we all know, and this is society in general, we all know what the Marine Corps has better than any other service, and that's just the uniform. It's a much better uniform.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yes, it's true. So, it is the uniform.
My dad was a Marine. My brother was a Marine. I joined the Marines because of them and the uniform. Not unlike you, I couldn't hack it for more than 4 years. I was 4 years, I was done. I wanted to come easier life, join the Army, and had a great career. So, hey, kudos to you. So how many years total did you do, Martin?
It'll be 20 years, October 31st.
20 years?
Yes.
All right, good for you. And so since you did recruiting, because there's not really a big demand for 0311s on the outside, what is it you may want to do, and where do you want to do it at?
Most definitely, I want to do project management. And the reason why I chose project management and also business management is because of what I've experienced in the Marine Corps in regards to management. Not just experience, but as I noticed, that's what I was good at. I was good at having a team, being a team player, good at, ensuring that I knew what we need to accomplish and the steps that we need to get there. The Marine Corps has this thing called Marine Corps planning process, which is our planning model in regards to project management, things of that sort. And that model right there, our planning process, we have 6 steps, and that 6 steps enables us to achieve, the overall goal, which is the commander's intent of whether it's, replenishing a unit with supply, with supply items, mm-hmm. or it's actually attacking an objective. Either way, every mission is going to be hard, but we need a structured plan in order to get there. So that's the reason why I chose business management and project management. And I love to lead. I love to lead people as a team. And even out there on recruiting duty, at Fast Company, Fleet Anti-Terrorism Security Team, Marines always, reach back out to me and say, hey, Martin, or hey, Gunny, hey, Staff Sergeant, you were hard on us, but at the end of the day, I had never had the greatest satisfaction of, being in your team or being with you out there, and I've learned a lot from you. So that satisfaction right there in leading a team or leading a mission and seeing the outcome of that mission is awesome. It's awesome, especially for Marines. Marines are stubborn, and for them to reach back out to me, like I had a dog handler unit, for instance. I had a dog handler unit, and this was a concept that the Marine Corps wanted to bring to fruition to the O3 community, to the grunt community. It was called IDD. Basically, it's improvised explosive detection dogs.
Okay.
So, as you know, the military it's not really a shortage of dogs, but the capability of military working dogs isn't far as wide as, when we were in Afghanistan, we were trying to defeat, IEDs before they defeated us. So they brought this program in. The program was around for about almost 5 years. And basically I had Marines from everywhere in our unit, our battalion, Marines who wanted to work with dogs, Marines who just got handpicked because, they didn't want them in that unit. So my job was to make that hodgepodge, for instance, that Dirty Dozen, a unit, and we became a unit and we became successful. And some of those Marines who, were my most difficult Marines, reached out to me as civilians. One Marine was on the police force, another Marine was going through college. And these long Facebook messages like, hey, thank you, Staff Sergeant, for what you done with us. I couldn't be successful, without, that standard that you've given us. And the challenges that we faced were the challenges that America is going through right now. That diversity challenge, the challenge of learning, new things and accepting new things and being thrown into the fire, when you least expect it. A lot of these Marines were ready for that challenge when they entered the civilian world.
Okay.
So that's the biggest.
Is there a better military rank than gunny? That's probably the best one. It sounds cool.
Oh yeah, it's most definitely the most popular is to be a gunny. I didn't foresee that when I was a private.
Of course not.
The best rank is sergeant, I would say.
Yeah, that was probably the most powerful rank in the Marine Corps, sergeant. You're right in there.
Most definitely, because you can influence Marines above you, and most definitely, you can you have those Marines below you are going to follow you, into the fire.
Set an example. They're going to follow you anywhere, right?
Exactly.
Hey, so you're transitioning now, right? So when's your final out, or when are you available to work?
I'll be available to work. August 31st is my first terminal date. So my wife and I, we're packing up the house on August 1st to head to Dallas Fort Worth area, and basically from there on, I've already been applying to jobs and such. I've had a couple of interviews, but from what I've seen from the interviews I've had, a lot of people are looking for people, now.
Right now.
That was 2 weeks ago. But, a lot, the system's slow right now just because of, the pandemic, the effect of the pandemic, throughout the country, but it's starting to slowly, build up, traction again. It's
definitely a different time to transition, and I'll tell you all the best to that. So one of the questions I see right here is, what is the DoD Skill Bridge program? Do you know what that is?
Oh, yes. Mm-hmm.
So did you take part in the program?
Yes, and that's the biggest thing. The DoD Skill Bridge program is the most awesome thing that they came up with. I have the opportunity right now, as I'm transitioning out of the infantry battalion, they give you hodgepodge jobs to do, to make the mission go forward. So right now I am a unit transition coordinator. So as I apply for retirement, that's how I found out about the Skill Bridge program. And the Skill Bridge program allows you to go to school while you're on active duty, attend a class, or get a certification. Usually is either free, is paid for by your GI Bill, or the Marine Corps will find a way to fund the program, or the Department of Defense. Mm-hmm. So the Skill Bridge program covers a huge amount of skill sets. The skill set that I am enrolled in right now is called Homeward Opportunity. And
Great program. Yeah,
Say again?
great program. And while you're talking, I'll drop the link to O2O. Go ahead.
Okay. All right. So Homeward Opportunity is a program sponsored by Syracuse University, and it involves involves 2 or 3 tracks, and they're slowly but surely building up more programs in there. The tracks is one is a certification in project management, and another certification in cyber, for lack of better words. It's a cyber program. So that's what Onward Opportunity right now is sponsoring for Skill Bridge. They're on the East Coast, and they're also on the West Coast. And right now,
there's 13 locations around the nation right now, and they're growing.
Yeah,
and those people that can take advantage of the O2O, if you're a transition veteran, 6 months prior to your separation date, get enrolled. If you're a veteran, get enrolled. Whenever you separated last year, whatever. If you're a military spouse, get enrolled. It's a free certification. I went through the SPHR class. There's so many PMP, the cyber stuff, Agile, Lean. It's all there for you. So which one do you choose again? PMP?
I chose the certification for project management.
Okay, good deal.
So I actually
is it tough?
I haven't started yet. I actually I missed the last program because we're engaged in the field. But I start this program at the end of this month. There's a 3-day virtual class. Usually it's in person, but now they're going virtual. It starts on the 21st of July. So in order to apply for the programs, this is the biggest advice I would give anybody going to Skill Bridge.
Oh, I love advice. Go ahead with this.
Start out 18 months out, and the transition, the way the military built the transition, they were forced to build the transition based off of, feedback from veterans, surveys, the VA, we want veterans to be successful. So in order for a veteran to be successful, or soon to become veteran, to be successful, is to start your transition 18 months out, especially with the Skill Bridge program. Now, the Skill Bridge program is not just for Marines, it's for every service member out there that's going to transition within 180 days. That program,
I got to caveat that real fast, Martin. It's for every service member except for the Coast Guard. Unfortunately, not the Coast Guard yet. So, and if you're a DoD member leaving active Guard Reserve, it's for you. Get involved. Due to your Skill Bridge. Go ahead.
So once you have to enroll in the program. I would say enroll in the program but a year out. All right. So what a year out is going to do for you is going to allow you to plan. All right, plan ahead. You're going to get out October 31st, and you're not sure what you want to do. Look up the Skill Bridge program. Like, for instance, Camp Pendleton. There's Camp Pendleton. I believe there's Norfolk are some of the biggest programs in the country, and I believe there's a Army program in Texas, another big program in the country. I believe it's Killeen, Texas, which is Fort Hood. Those 3 bases have the biggest programs. For instance, Camp Pendleton has 8 skill sets. One of them is the BMW program, which is 16 weeks. It's the most unique program out there. BMW pays for you to go to your school for 16 weeks. If you're E5 and below, the Marine Corps is going to pay for your housing. But it's a competitive program. You're not just competing with the Marines at Camp Pendleton, which is a huge base. You're also competing with the sailors that are up the road and at 32nd Street. So the thing with the O2O, BMW, all those other programs is to enroll early by submitting your paperwork as soon as possible for that cohort.
Hey, that's great advice. And William Pulkinen has a question. He says, can you do the Syracuse University program, which is O2O, Homeward Opportunity, for PMP as well as a different DoD Skill Bridge program, or is a PMP counted towards your Skill Bridge program attendance? So here's the advice I can give. You can take the O2O virtually. You can take the O2O training in the evening. You can take the O2O testing in the weekends. So if you want, you can do the DoD Skill Bridge internship, fellowship, whatever, throughout the day. So it's possible to use both programs. If you can manage your time properly during that final 6 months of your military service, you can use both the O2O and the DoD Skill Bridge. HireMilitary or in a company or fund it by yourself. But yes, William, you can use both. Have you used both yet, Martin, or not?
No. I wanted to, but some of the programs were canceled just because of the COVID, or they went virtual. And I'm taking college online too, so I wanted to
that's
make
a
sure I
lot for you
manage my
then.
time pretty wisely.
You'll be online all the time. But yeah, and like you mentioned, Martin, a lot of the opportunities, internships were canceled because of the COVID. So with HireMilitary, we had a lot of remote opportunities. So we work with a bunch of companies, TechQual, Workforce Insight. We actually had those companies come to us. We have so many remote opportunities. Let's fill them. So we filled them all. And these roles are like solutions consultant, account executive, something that normally military members don't think about because they want to go what's comfortable to them. You're not going to go into a role of 0 through 11. You have to go out of your comfort role into something else. So that's why you chose what you're chosen right now. But if you're a military transition veteran, do the DoD Skillbridge internship opportunity, get that skill set, check it out because it's a 3 to 4 month interview between you and the employer and vice versa. So besides the O2O, Martin, what else have you already enrolled in ACP?
Oh no, not yet.
All right, so ACP.
Oh yes, I have. I wrote in ACP a few months back in I would like to say back in January when I first found out I was going to get approved for retirement. But yes, so I did enroll in ACP.
And one of the main things about transitioning is to find a mentor. The American Corporate Partner ACP, they provide a mentor in a civilian capacity. So they can be a Fortune 500 company. They can mentor you through transition. So do you have a mentor now, or are you getting one soon?
Oh yes, I have a mentor. COVID is crazy, so I keep bringing it up. But yes, it was a little bit slow in the beginning, but I actually received my mentor back in March. My mentor is in the same area where I'm trying to go. He's in Texas.
Okay.
And he works for Lockheed Martin. He's also a veteran himself. He spent time in the Air Force before he transitioned to the civilian side of the house. So
do you talk once a week or with your mentor, or how does that work out for you?
We've been talking once a month.
Okay.
So the conversations are long. It's just not like 10, 15-minute conversation. It's actually an hour conversation. And like I said, with the COVID, he was out of work for a while or working virtually, so we weren't able to talk during that phase right there. But because he would use his inside his work environment for us to talk. But the greatest thing about that is learning that what his struggle was and what he wished he could have done when he transitioned, and they can give you the insight of where they work at. What the skill sets are there and some of the certifications you may need in order to work at, Lockheed Martin or Bell or any organization that, that is similar to where they work at.
I'll tell you, my ACP mentor was phenomenal. We talked at least once every 2 weeks. My one thing was, I'm not a big reader. I'll be honest, I'm not a big reader. So he said to me, "This is your homework. Read this." I was like, I got homework, but truth be told, it was a good. I learned so much from my mentor. I'd recommend ACP to anybody. They open your eyes to things that you wouldn't realize because we're so structured in the military. The transition that helped me open my mind to different things. Like I want to do HR. I've been HR my whole career, so I didn't know like training and development was HR, diversity inclusion. There's so many HR components, talent management, talent acquisition. It's all HR enrolled. And he said, listen, this is what you got to do. Do it all, get certifications, and find out where you want to pinpoint your career in a specific field. So I'll tell you, get your ACP mentor. It's free. There's no reason not to. So that's all I got to say about that. So you use O2O, you use ACP. What else? What is like Marine Corps specific that you can tell the next Marines following you they must do now?
Oh, you have to do it. I would say even if you're 5 years out, if you're still trying to plan your retirement, the Marine for Life program. This program most Marines know about, and that the Marine for Life basically was going to do enable you to get in touch with a program manager there in a city that you want to retire in or transition to, and they'll be able to get you the ins and outs of trying to find a job in that area, and they will help you to the ends of the road. They will reach out and touch with you if you even request for information. Somebody's going to call you. I even had a gentleman call me back in March. I believe I was in the field. Wasn't able to return his call, but he left me a lengthy message and an email how to get in touch with him. And basically, what the Marine for Life program is going to do for you is allow you to be also mentored by them, but they are the subject matter experts in that location. They even have a Marine for Life for Wall Street. So if you're looking to get on Wall Street,
right.
There's Marine for Life organization for Wall Street that's going to enable you to be connected in that network and be mentored by somebody and hopefully find an internship, a job, or even an education track to get you into that business.
So let's be candid now. How much does that cost a Marine?
Nothing at all. Maybe time, but you can, you're not losing any sleep. I mean, you can make, if you can do classes online, then you can engage on all these programs right here.
So O2O, ACP, Marine for Life, these are all free resources. And one of the best thing is a mentor. Find a mentor or two or three. Find a mentor battle buddy. Find a mentor that's maybe 2 months ahead of you in transition. Find a mentor that's been a year out already. Find the mentors, because they're not going to do it for you. The work, you have to own the work. So be a sponge, listen to a mentor, and get 3 or 4 mentors and listen to them. The ACP. So Michelle Shop, she's asking, Martin, what type of industry are you interested in going into or using your project management MBA skills for? What industry in the Dallas-Fort Worth area?
Okay, all right. That's a hard question right there, coming from
Michelle Shop. That's a tough question, but he's willing to answer it, right?
Yes. So it's most definitely the business industry. I love to be challenged. The biggest part about a challenge is learning. So I'm willing to learn anything. The industry I would love to go into is most definitely defense contracting, but I'm not just limited to that.
In defense contracting, that's a great business. People make careers out of that stuff, and it is a comfort level. There is that, and we have it all the time. Let me see how many questions we got here. I'm gonna scroll through. Hey, give us some tips, or what kind of. Okay, here's a question for you. So the question comes from. Let's see here. I had a name here, but have you already gone through your VA disability claim process yet?
Yes.
How is that going for you now that COVID and all that stuff happens? Walk us through that for you.
Okay, so right now the VA has a process where you can submit your claim from active duty 6 months, 180 days to 120 days prior to your actual in the active service date. So for me, I submitted mine's 179 days out. And from
right on time, right there.
Yeah, right there. I think it hit on the weekend, so I had to wait to talk to the gentleman. But since the COVID happened, for us here at 29 Palms and in Camp Pendleton, we have a DAV here a representative here on base. Of course, those gentlemen and those women weren't here at work because they've been teleworking. But basically, I left a message. I called there. I left a message, and the gentleman immediately called me back. I think he said he gives himself about 24 hours. He called me back about 6 hours later and introduced himself. It was an extensive conversation about the VA claim and how to do it. And he followed up with an email and steps inside the email on how to submit the claim. So from there, the advice I would give to anybody that is looking to submit a VA claim, just don't start 6 months out. I would say start anywhere from eight months to 6 months out, because that will allow you to get all your paperwork and data together, especially for the Navy and the Marine Corps. We can just go to the Navy hospital and submit a request to receive our electronic notes, and they have about 30 days to get that to you. So any civilian, agencies that you had to go to get medical care, uh, that process can be lengthy. I'm still waiting on paperwork from when I was in Georgia, and right now the COVID is very extensive when it comes down to actually getting response from any records agency.
So here's a maybe a challenging question. So you're a gunny, you're a Marine. How'd you feel about going to the VA process? How did it make you feel?
It made me feel a little bit indifferent, just because of, I look back, at all the times, especially being an infantry guy, you tell guys to suck it up, let's go to the field, or you suck it up and don't say anything. But I look back at all the times I hurt myself, or I've been injured, and didn't say anything, and that right there is a huge wake up call, because as you get older, you talk to the good thing about 29 Palms, the Marines, they just don't go anywhere. They might stay here, when they get out the Marine Corps. A lot of these guys are coming back to, the Naval Hospital here, and they'll stop you like, hey, double dog, make sure, you put in for your claim. Cause, there's still a lot of these gentlemen, even my father, who was in the Army, during the 1970s, a lot of those, things that they went through are coming to fruition 30 years later. So the thing is to submit that claim, you may not get anything. You may not even be looking to get anything, but submitting that claim solidifies you having that injury and not fighting to say that you had that injury 30 years from this date, when you're 60 years old or 50 years old and you're feeling, that knee that you busted, jumping out of a truck, back in, 2001.
Training, deployments, all these injuries happen. And if you're listening to this and you're getting out of the military this soon or next couple of years, lose the pride, lose the ego towards the end, get yourself taken care of, because you're not taking from anybody else. So if you get 50% or 80% or 100%, you're not taking from anybody else. It's already budgeted there for you. Get what you don't lie about things. Just be honest about it. And I'll tell you, when I went through my process, I would bend over and do the range of motion exercises. And the doctor she would say, "Did that hurt?" I said, "No." She goes, "Well, I saw you grimaced. Let's try that again." They're trying to help you, but please help yourself, because and if you have family, spouses, get them involved too. They know most of our aches and pains. I had no idea what I was doing sometimes. My wife's like, "That hurts you. You're being a baby about that." I mean, she was being real with me. So just be honest with yourself. Get taken care of. I had a conversation with a retiring Air Force guy last week, Martin, and he was out for 6 months, and he mentioned to me he never filed his claim because he didn't think he deserved anything. To me, I mean, that I was amazed how that process is, but I know how sometimes the Army leaders or the military leaders, they think, well, I don't need that. But one day you're going to.
Oh, yeah, and it's deep. Just to caveat off that, we just did the border mission not too long ago. We're down there on the border and ran into one of the border agents. And he came, these guys, they love Marines. They're Marines. They're soldiers.
Who doesn't?
And these dudes are awesome, and he came up on post, I was just touring out when the post, and he's like, "Oh, you getting out soon?" I was like, yeah, I'm tired. He's like, "Hey, man, I was old 311 back in the day. I got out as a sergeant, and I got shot." He said he got shot in the arm and in Iraq. And he said, "I did not, I refused my claim. I refused to submit a claim." That's what he told me. He said, because I've known guys who perished or lost a leg. And he said it was stupid of him not to submit his claim. He has a Purple Heart because he was prideful about, some of the, the people that, who paid the ultimate sacrifice or even lost, limb or life. And he said, I regret, not, that's, treatment that I missed out on, whether it was psychological or physical treatment, for him to go to, the VA hospital and stuff like that. And he admitted, he said after 5 years of being out, he finally submitted his claim, which, it took a little bit of time, but he was actually able to receive, care and compensation.
And that's great. Again, you're not taking from anybody. Don't think that. Get what you're entitled to, because at the end of the day, when we get older, our body starts changing and things are hurting, right? I know you know about it, Martin, right?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
All right, so you're getting out in a few months. You're going to Dallas-Fort Worth area. You're looking for a job soon. But one of the comments I saw on here, she said, you're not reporting to the next unit, Martin. Take some time for yourself.
All right. Most definitely. Somebody just told me that today. I just talked to the gentleman at the education center, and I was trying to, I want to be proactive and productive. That's the biggest thing, is to be productive. So I told him, I said, yeah, I just submitted to go to my package to go to, Texas Christian University. And he was like, hey, Gunny, be quiet, Gunny. It's like, you need to take a break, take a break. TCU isn't going anywhere.
Nope.
Take a break. You won't be able to receive any, a lot of your benefits until you actually get out, and you'll be out November 1st. So he said, hey, take a semester off and, jump right into it, next semester. I was like, oh, and that's what, that light right there. That's the second ding right there I got. So.
And that comment was from Crystal Lockhart. But really, people love saying that they were getting out of the military and they double dipped for a few months. It's a great feeling, but sometimes you got to take that break because it's needed. Your family needs it. You need it, mentally, physically, spiritually. You need that. So I get why, because you don't want to be irrelevant after a while. You won't be. Hey, Marines are always in high demand. That's the way it is. Hey, so if you can tell an employer right now, because we're laid back here, it's not an interview process. If you can tell an employer right now, what can you bring to the organization within the first 90 days?
All right.
Tough question. You got it.
Oh yeah, most definitely. So I would use my first 90 days anywhere where I showed up. My first 90 days anywhere, I'm looking to learn about the organization, become a team member and a team player at that organization. From there, once I've learned what the organization is about, what the mission is, my thing is to accomplish the goal and to motivate as many people as possible. So essentially, my first 90 days on recruiting duty was the hardest 90 days. And during that hardest 90 days, I was actually able to achieve more than a lot of other guys. And that was, recruiting the top talent. My first 90 days in Kuwait, I took a look at the program that we had. And that program basically was to be a liaison for our unit. And this was an Army base. We were only 6 Marines on an Army base.
Taking over.
Oh, yeah, taking over. And that first 90 days, I seen that there was not a good establishment of relationship or rapport with our brothers on the other side with the National Guard and the Army. So we established a relationship and rapport in order to facilitate operations, not just for my battalion, but for every Marine Corps unit coming into Kuwait and going out to Syria, Iraq, Afghanistan, and so on and so forth. And that was just not facilitating life support or range support. It was also ammunition, anything that they needed. We were actually able to establish without spending so much money on the Army and Marine Corps end. It was just relationships that we developed. And that's what I'm looking to do at any organization where I go to, is not to take over, but to make it better, make it fluid, and make it fun for everyone that I work with. And my team was a hodgepodge team of a logistics guy. I had a grunt, a grunt myself.
You got to have a grunt.
I got to have a grunt. And Lieutenant, he was a grunt. So it was 3 grunts. We had 2 communications Marine, 2 motor T Marines. and we were actually able to make it happen. I mean, even though there's only 6 or 7 of us, 8 of us sometimes, it seemed like it was 20 of us, you know, and we didn't mind working late because we knew we were accomplishing the mission. So.
Hey, you have a small fan club here now, forming up pretty soon. So, hey, Matthew Ostergaard, he mentioned that he's in Dallas. Let him know if you need any connections down there. So, you're getting some people down here that want to help you out. So, I tell you, get on here afterwards. Look at the comments, respond to, and people, please reach out to Martin, and let's get him some connections down in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. I've got a few. HireMilitary has a few connections for you. We'll keep loading you up, man. So good luck in that journey. So you start what, August time frame? You start that journey down there?
Yes. So we leave out of here 29 Palms. Thank God, you know, successfully. You know, out of the heat on the 31st of July, and due to arrive August 1st in Dallas-Fort Worth area.
So to any employer out there in Dallas-Fort Worth area, contact Martin. Give him a couple weeks to decompress, please, and just give him a vacation. But he's ready to jump in. Just like so many transition veterans, he's qualified. He'll get your resume out to you. Just Martin, thank you for your service. 20 years is a huge deal. Only a small amount of Americans do this. So for that, we're really grateful for you, especially being a Marine. And being 2 Marines, we can talk here all day long. But I know you have work to do because you're not transitioned out totally. So I'm sure they're sort of blowing your phone up to come back to work, right?
Almost definitely. Everybody's on leave right now. We just had 60 days out in the field, so they're trying to decompress themselves. So
that sounds fun. Hey, Martin. Again, just thank you very much. And we'll be on here again tomorrow at 3 p.m. East Coast time, 12 Pacific. We'll be on here almost every day at 3 p.m. Chris Dorn's on here Thursdays at 4 p.m. East Coast time, 1 p.m. Pacific. So we're on here every day on LinkedIn Live, answering your questions. But check us out. Again, Martin, thank you very much. And we'll see everybody tomorrow.
No problem, Sergeant Major.
Take care, man.
Bye, everyone. Thank you.